It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me is always my buddy, my coach, my pal, the man with the plan, the one and only to help break down this rapid reaction news today. All right. The only guy I can talk to about this because clearly this man knows what trades are going to happen before they even happen for players that we already know that are more realistic than freaking Jeremy Grant. My man, the one and only John Meleka. John, how do you feel today knowing that you called Kevin Knox to the Atlanta Hawks?
It was obvious, bro. It was obvious. I'm not gonna pat my back too much on that. It was obvious. I'm doing well, man. The Knicks are on a little mini 2-game winning streak, blowing teams out, really making the media look foolish for caring about this Julius Randle thing. All right, like we're all sitting here with doom and gloom. Meanwhile, we're blowing out the Spurs. You know what I mean? So I'm happy right now. And, the guest we had on, Steve from Space Media last episode, he was just saying how happy he was that the Knicks are finally tied to real basketball players and not, ridiculous players with contracts. So I'm just excited that we made a nice deal, man. It was just a nice Kevin Knox and a protected top 18 Hornets pick, and then we gave up probably, if not Mr. Irrelevant in the NBA draft in 2025, close to with that second round pick for the Nets for Solomon Hill. I just like the direction, man. I'm glad that we're not panicking and everything's just chill.
For sure, man, for sure. And yeah, it's been a good week. We took down the Spurs, beat the brakes off the Dallas Mavericks. Can we get into that before we get into Cam Reddish? How about RJ Barrett last night?
Hell yeah
is right, man. RJ Barrett coming out here, locking Luka up, dropping over 30 again, back-to-back, youngest Knick to ever drop back-to-back 30-point games.
Listen, man, it was such a short time ago that people were making fun of me because I was prop betting RJ Barrett 20+ points a game. It was such a short time ago, and here we are. He's dropping 30-point games. He's hugging Frank as if he's the big brother. You know what I mean? KP's not playing. The Mavericks deal, as we keep alluding to this Cam Reddish, the Mavericks KP deal is finally coming to an end here, right? There's a couple more picks left there, So it's really kind of poetic. Right. We have a little bit of a soft schedule coming up this week. So it's really time to capitalize for this team. And again, we're acting like the world's on fire. Julius Randle this, Julius Randle that, statements and press conferences and all this crap. Meanwhile, RJ Barrett is just dropping 30, bro. Just dropping 30 and beating West Coast teams coming into the Garden. What else could you ask for?
Bro, he was so efficient last night. He was a plus 22. I don't really look at box plus minus like that, but he was a plus 22, 32 points, 7 boards, 2 assists. He could have had a few more assists too because he was playmaking out there as well. He went 4 for 7 from 3, 13 from 22 from the field in total. Dude was just a monster, man. Monster. And the way he was able to get to the rack and just finish, dude, as our guy David Zenon would always say, year 3 RJ Barrett, man. The thing was that he was going on this streak too. And when we saw that against the New Orleans Pelicans, but then he got sick, then he got COVID, then he went out, then he's coming back. He's struggling because he's trying to get healthy. And now that you see that he's healthy and he's back on the streak again, honestly, I'm not saying 30 points is what we should expect on a nightly basis, but I could see 18 to 20 points pretty consistently from RJ because he's showing that he could be a 3-level scorer at this point. Threes. He's got that mid-range was working really well, getting it to the rack and finishing with both hands, even though Stephen A says he can't finish with the right hand. I don't know what games he's watching, but hey, RJ's out here doing his thing. And then you got to give props to Julius Randle too. Julius Randle had almost a quiet triple-double, man. Yeah. He was
He's been
look,
doing that. He's been doing that.
2 assists away from having a triple double, 17 points, 12 boards, 8 assists. And the thing was is that when we have RJ as the actual number 2 option, like Evan Fournier played well yesterday, so I'm not gonna throw him shade, but like RJ, I want RJ to be that second option. Like when you see both of them going, it makes Julius's life so much easier. And when we saw earlier this season, he was struggling. And yeah, there were games, like I said, that he was playing wax and not playing with enough effort. But last night, if we can get that from Julius Randle on a nightly basis, this team is going in the right direction, man. Stocks are rising. Stocks are rising. So
Yeah,
I love it.
I don't really think these Knicks could really make teams go, 1 for 4 for 3 from Reggie Bullock, 1 for 7 from 3 for Tim Hardaway, 1 for 9 from 3 for Luka, 1 for 3 for Jalen Brunson, like 0 for 4 for Finney Smith. That like it's kind of an anomaly that happened. I mean, of course,
for sure.
Long threes turn into turnovers or / fast break transitions, and we were all over it. Like I know you saw that Knicks tweet at the end of the game's blouses, like with Mitch Robinson. Like we're clowning at the end there. Like we with Dallas shooting like that, we were able to capitalize. So I'm happy about it. I'm so glad that this. I mean, it's always scary when you play the Mavs, and it could always come out where the story becomes about Tim Hardaway, becomes around Bullock, becomes around KP if he ever plays. So I'm just glad that none of that happened. You know what I'm trying to say? Like we just kind of skated by this game. The next one is on my birthday, so it should be an interesting one in Dallas. So the only other thing I'll take away from this game is I still like Jalen Brunson. Like I don't know what that means. I don't know like if we could what it's going to take to trade for him. But all I'm saying is I just like Jalen Brunson. Like he would be his 8 to 10 points. I know, but like his 8 to 10 points in the Garden would be like 25 points on a regular team. Like he like his transition, his way he pick and roll. Like I want to get into it, right now with Cam Reddish, but I think Cam Reddish's steals are going to be like almost 2 steals for every one in the Garden. Like those are going to be huge, especially if somebody at the end is finishing with a dunk like Obi or RJ or whatever.
I'm excited.
Like the things in the Garden change. Like Jalen Brunson on the road, you see what he does. Like which is exactly what he did yesterday in MSG. You see it, but like at home, it could really be a game changer.
Yeah, I'm not like I like Jalen Brunson. I'm not as high as you on Jalen Brunson. I would think. Like,
I don't want it to be my starter. I don't want it to be the starter.
Okay, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Cool. All right, cool. If we're talking about bench, absolutely.
I mean, we're talking 8 points, like 8 to 10 points, like nothing crazy. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right? No, because like some people are out here making it seem like he should be a starter for the Knicks, and I'm like, he's a good like game manager. Like
no, like him and IQ off the bench, dude. Like we have to move on off this D Rose thing. Like he's gonna come back, he's nice, but like, come on. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it can't just always be IQ and D Rose. Like, let's go. We have to start. Or McBride. I like McBride there too, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, at some point that has to change. I feel you on that. But yeah, no, and the last person I want to touch on is Monster Mitch at this point. He got 19 points, 9 for 10, 10 boards. Dude was an animal. He was making Dwight Powell look like a child out there. Like
he looked really short. Like he really looked small.
He looked tiny next to Mitch. Was just monstering out there. So shout out to Mitch, man. Yo, Mitch, if you can do this, please keep doing this, Mitch. This is what we want from you. As John said, you have to be the most improved on this team.
It has to.
Please.
It's the only way. Without him, we win no games.
That's a fact. But yeah, man, I think that really covers it for what we saw. Like everyone, it was a good overall effort from the first unit. Bench played well. It wasn't great. Like the numbers weren't there. Like we got good minutes, solid minutes from IQ and Grimes, even though IQ didn't shoot well. He was just doing a good stuff, just good floor game. Grimes, man, that jumper is just beautiful. Just oh so beautiful. And you see the Hawks wanted him, and then Leon Rose was like, absolutely not.
Dude, we literally had Like
This
I don't know,
conversation.
like the
We had the business conversation.
yeah, like I took a class in law school called negotiations.
Yep,
Where
same here.
where we'd sit down and we'd have this play out scenario and we'd talk about both sides. Like we literally did that for Leon Rose and the Atlanta Hawks before it happened. Like we were talking about, oh, what if Grimes comes out? Like, no way, dude. Like it's just off the table. One of those things that are off the table.
And
You
that's
know, but in your notes, like you have to ask for it.
you
know what I'm
have
trying
to.
say?
You have to. It's like you can't just
So-
not acknowledge it. You can't just not say it. No, so that's why you all tune in here to hear the negotiations, because I took negotiations too. Great class. It's a lot of fun.
So
It's a fun
funny.
class.
So funny because like there's no chance that Cam Reddish is worth, any of our two rookies in McBride or Grimes, yet he's not. No matter how you feel about Fournier, the contracts just don't match. So it has to be Knox. Like Knox and Cam Reddish are on the same trajectory to their franchise. You know what I mean? As you mentioned last episode, Cam Reddish spent some time in the G League. And as we've been begging and pleading for, we've been wanting Kevin Knox to spend more time in the G League. So they're on the same path here. Yet I think Cam Reddish has a gripe to be frustrated with, and Kevin Knox really doesn't.
And here's the thing: Cam Reddish has a much higher upside, and I think it hasn't even been tapped because of how the Hawks handled him. Because when they drafted him, they did the thing that I really dislike when it comes to like you take the best talent available, even though if you already have that that slot filled. Like if you have a lot of wings, why are we taking another wing? Like that's what they did. And so I think Cam has a higher ceiling and a higher potential. This is truly the buy low for the New York Knicks because Cam, let's get into it right now. The Knicks get Cam, they fleece them. Our two teams, the Jets and the Knicks, know how to fleece people in trades, man. We fleeced the Detroit Pistons for Derrick Rose, and now we fleeced the Atlanta Hawks for Cam Reddish. Like
it's so weird though, because it's a rival. Like I understand the Pistons and the Derrick Rose Tibbs
for
thing
sure.
and the respect for D Rose. But what doesn't make sense to me is why is a rival trading with the Knicks and why are we getting the better part of this deal? It really doesn't make sense to me.
Before we get into that, before we really dive into that, let me pay the bills real quick around here, John. Let me pay the bills real quick around here. All right, guys. Last time I'm doing this for all you, all right? You know what the deal is. We're partnered with Fansided. Fansided is owned by Minute Media. Minute Media also owns the Players Tribune. And what do they have over at the Players Tribune? The Players Tribune has this new podcast called Blindsided. It's the first ever mental health podcast launched by the Players Tribune. Former NHL goalie Corey Hirsch and psychiatrist Dr. Diane McIntosh. The show shares some of the moments for a variety of athletes when everything changed for them and mental health became the most important focus of their lives. And this podcast allows listeners to have an understanding of the different types of mental health challenges people face, whether that's PTSD, addiction, sudden life changes, breakdowns, insecurity, panic attacks. They go through it all. They bring on guests such as Kevin Love, Kurt Warner, Paul. Come on, John.
Paul Biz Nasty, dude.
There
of
we
course,
go.
he makes this pod. He also makes the new hockey commentary role. I mean, if you're not listening to Biz Nasty, I don't know what you're doing out here. If you're talking hockey.
And the Biz Nasty episode, bro, like that was really good. That was a really good episode. I keep promoting that one. There's another one that dropped earlier today that I wanted to check out as well with a tennis player. I forget her name, and I really should know. But guys, you got to make sure to go check out. Huh?
Okay, go ahead.
No, guys, you gotta go check out this podcast. It's so good. I'm still learning all the names of everyone. The one that's really good too is Julius Thomas, former tight end for the Denver Broncos. He really goes into some deep trauma as well. Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah, that one's really good as well. So yeah, John, getting back to Cam Reddish. Look, I'm just really excited for him to be a Knick. I think we got really good value on that. I think we got really good value on that trade. We fleeced them. I know that we traded with a rival, which you were talking about. And why would a rival want to get into this, right? Because
makes no sense, dude.
dude, I think honestly, I really wonder. And by the way, Hawks fans are down bad. Like they
Dude,
are
that was
down
hilarious.
bad. Like they are down absolutely. It's not even
Yelling,
just there,
crying in spaces.
bro. It's not even that. You just go check Twitter overall. People are hoping there's another move for Kevin Knox. They're like, what are we doing? They're like, are we tanking? What's going on here? Like they're like Hawks fans are really down bad, and you'll love to see it. They may have won the battle. They may not win the war, bro. So
see, we got them next game, which is so interesting too.
dude, that's such even a weird time to do it too.
Play them on Saturday.
I don't think Cam's going to play that much in there. I don't think Tibbs would.
I hope he does.
I hope so too, but I just don't. I think Tibbs loves to get his guys a little bit more repetition than 2 days before throwing him in there.
Did you see him recently just go off on practice? So I agree with you. You didn't see that clip?
No, I didn't see that clip.
Tibbs went off about how important practice is, and if you play better in practice, you're gonna be better. And then I actually saw a video of someone who cut up that video and put it against Allen Iverson. Practice video, which is hilarious. But yeah, he just went on a rant this past week in his post game about how vital practices, and if you play well in practice, then you'll play well in the court, and that's why people are seeing minutes. To a rotation question, which we're gonna have to get into this media at the end here because there's some spicy takes out here, man.
There's gross takes. You're calling it spicy. It's not even spicy. It's just gross, man. Like, come on now. And
we'll get to it later.
Yeah, we'll get to it later. But I'm excited, man, to see Cam. Like I said, I think he has a higher upside. I think when you look at the Knicks and the Hawks, I don't really think it's that much of a rivalry then if you're able to trade with a rival, unless you think that there's
the Jets share with the Patriots this year, so
that is an anomaly. We don't even really do that. I think the Hawks and the Knicks rivalry is still way too young. Like it's
so fresh. That's what I'm saying. That's what's so weird.
But that's the thing. Like it's so fresh, but the Hawks are struggling. The Knicks are in this like weird spot, like where they're trying to get on a run right now to get back. Just what's to say playing right now before we even say like 6 and up to be playoff a lock, but they're working their way to get back into playing, right? Hawks are they're struggling. Like Trae Young's going out and putting up numbers, but everybody else is just not showing up. So I think for them, and then you hear the GM who comes out the other day. Did you hear that one? Did you hear the Hawks GM who went on on Atlanta radio and said, I made a mistake about bringing everybody back and paying everybody to come back? Did you hear that?
See that? I did not see that. I did see that John Collins is pissed off. I didn't see that.
Yeah, the Hawks GM just came out and said he wishes he didn't bring everybody back, and that was a big mistake. So
he's pissed about the John Collins contract. That's what it sounds like.
I think he's pissed about a lot of things, man. And I think this is why he's moving on from Cam Reddish, because when you look at all the other guys that he has, who's trading for Gallo? Who's trading for Bogey? Like after what happened to, like, I like Bogey, but who's trading for Bogey after his new contract? You know what I mean? Like without having to give up stuff. Yeah, I mean the Lakers will do anything, but they don't really have much to give up either. Like no one's taking Russell Westbrook in that deal.
I feel like you can convince them.
Oh goodness gracious!
You can convince
Trae Young and Westbrook as a backcourt. What were you selling Westbrook as then? Hey West, you want to be
you don't have to
be a backup?
Him. He does not have no trade clause. Who cares what he thinks?
No. I'm just saying, like, obviously, but it's just what you think you're
gonna sell the Hawks.
So you're gonna sell him. Hey man, go to Atlanta.
LeBron. Yeah, it says LeBron.
Yeah, but does Atlanta want him? But Atlanta has to accept that.
Nobody ever wants Russell Westbrook, man.
I know, which is always strange. We're like, guys, we should trade for Westbrook, and then we have fans out here saying he's a top 5 point guard. Now we're off on a tangent.
I know. It's just trade season. That's why it's just trade season
for sure. But
you feel like the Knicks absolutely killed in this trade. Is there a downside here with Cam Reddish in this rotation? You think?
Putting him into the rotation or like finding him a spot in the rotation?
Same question. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify. Like if it's finding a spot, I think right now it's actually safe because the bench is down to 4 people, so you can slide right in and work with that unit. And we have
Solomon Hill.
Whatever you think.
I know nobody's on the Solomon Hill.
He's good. He's a gritty guy.
To be fair, when I think Solomon Hill, I think Indiana Pacers Solomon Hill, which is a decade ago, or like literally Roy Hibbert years.
Yeah, it's a long time ago.
And The second thing I think was the playoffs, though. He was pretty good in the playoffs last year.
He's
So
great.
those two things do come up with me. I know it's tough to sell Solomon Hill here, but it's a 2025 second round Nets pick.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
I agree, but I don't see him getting a lot of minutes. Like, if you want to talk about like what Tibbs did to Frank last season for Solomon Hill, spot minutes. That's what Solomon Hill's going to get. Spot minutes because he's gritty. He'll play defense.
When he's pissed off.
Yeah.
When he's pissed off, like Evan Fournier, he'll put in Solomon Hill for like 10 minutes.
For sure.
You go guard him. I mean, I was at that Cavs game when Rubio was killing us. He's like, yo, Grimes, go ahead. That was like his first game in. He's like, you guard him. Nobody else is. You try.
For sure.
He does that.
But getting back to Cam, like for Cam, I see him. I think there's another move coming in order to like make this.
Don't tell me Zion. Don't tell me that.
No, I'm not saying we're getting Zion. Absolutely. We're not getting Zion. At least not yet. If that's going to happen, that'll be funny, but
can I say on record, Zion Williamson would be absolutely ridiculous not to take the max extension.
Yes, but I would be concerned.
Whatever though.
But for Cam, like he's going to slide in right now because we don't have D Rose, we don't have Kemba, and even if we get Kemba back,
Kemba's got to be traded, dude.
Kemba, well, guys who got to be traded. See, the tough thing is that we're without Derrick Rose until.
Yeah, well, we just have to assume he's coming back later.
You assume, but do you really want to live off of like Alec Burks at the point guard starting? Do you really want to?
I mean, honestly, they can. I think right now they can band-aid IQ, Alec Burks, Cam Reddish, McBride. Like they could band-aid that into the point guard position. But they still have to get something for Kemba, and I wonder where Fournier is going to fit here. I think that Fournier,
I think that's the bigger question. And like, this is not even just trying to be facetious. Like, this is legitimately because you look at Cam, he's a wing. Like that's 2 and 3. We got Fournier, we got RJ. You got if D Rose comes back, that's quickly at the 2. That's Burks at the 3, and then you have Grimes, and now you got Cam. And you did not get Cam to have him as a Kevin Knox on the bench. There's no way you did that. So Fournier, I think, has to be moved so you can like jumble some things around and get somebody out there, or Burks. But I just can't see Burks because I can't see giving up the guy who's just good in isolation and even showed that last season too. Sure, he has the most value between him and Fournier, especially with his contract. You can definitely get a late first rounder for him. But I don't know if you want a late first rounder in this year's draft that isn't as stacked as like last year's, or like from what I've heard and what I'm reading, after the first 10 to 13 picks, there's a massive drop off. So I don't know why you'd want a first rounder for this year. I
mean, if we could package Fournier for a Jeremy Grant, now we're talking, because finally you're molding the team to Tibbs, right? Like, no matter what, Cam Reddish is a better fit in that lineup than Evan Fournier. In the Tibbs lineup, he just is better. I understand that sometimes Tibbs wants a guy to create by himself because he knows that he doesn't draw up any offensive plays. So somebody like Fournier is attractive, but his negative defense is just messes with the system too much. So Cam Reddish, again, I mentioned with those steals are going to be huge. He gets in those passing lane. He's been hitting threes at like a 40% clip. Yep. Like he's fine. Like he's gonna fit in. He's that 3-and-D guy for free that we just got.
Yeah,
I wonder what we can get for Fournier. It's not gonna get us Fox. Like that's not a starter there. But it might be a starter for Grant. So I'm really hoping that type of player comes here. If it's gonna be for something ridiculous, like something just to get off of the Fournier contract, just to get him out of the lineup, I'm out on that.
I think the only way you move Fournier at this point is if you're getting a guard. Like you have to get a point guard at this point. Like you actually have to. It's so crowded where you have to find a point guard that is suitable for this team. It's So I don't know how you want to move. This is where it's just so complicated. I don't know unless you think like I'm not even putting Dame out there.
Well, he's out forever. He's out for the year.
I know he's out for the year, so that's why I don't like. Let's not even think
it's
about
over
that because
Yeah.
there's no way you're trading for that guy just to have him wait for a season.
And I really don't think we're trading Randle.
I don't think we're trading Randle either. So that's why for me, I don't see how Grant fits in here unless you're thinking that he comes off the bench and you're trading Obi.
No. I think you'd have X point guard, whoever we end up managing to get, and then we have RJ, Grant, Randle.
Okay. I'm thinking that they want Cam,
and then Mitch.
I'm thinking that they want Cam to start first.
Don't be ridiculous, bro. He's in the G League. Just let him come off the bench.
Bro.
Just let him come off the bench and play solid defensive minutes. And if him and Emmanuel quickly are running like that 2-3, like they're gonna be killing it. Like that changes the whole dynamic of the team.
Or
like
how about
we can
this?
get Burks IQ.
How about
and
Grimes?
Cam Reddish?
Do you put Grimes into the starting rotation then?
No, I think Grimes is going to take a step back. Like I think that Cam Reddish is going to take Grimes minutes because he is just a better version of Grimes. He's a better version of him.
I'm saying no. I'm sorry. If we trade Evan Fournier, like that's. I'm sorry. Let me phrase this whole conversation. If we trade Evan Fournier, who are you moving up to start? Grimes or Cam Reddish?
Say if we trade him away for a first round pick, hypothetically, which is impossible.
Right.
I would put Burks in there.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, I would put Burks in there with RJ, to be honest. It's another ball handler.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't put Cam Reddish in there. I mean, I understand why you would because he's just a defender, doesn't have to do anything, but that's such stagnant offense. Like if you have everyone just standing there doing nothing, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't work. Like you need that offensive playmaker in the starting lineup. I think that's always been our issue. So I would put Burks in there.
Okay.
Especially if we don't have a point guard, which I mean, as history tells me, we're not going to. So you need Burks.
History tells us, or what we do is we get D Rose to come back and he plays 20 minutes to start, and then IQ wraps it all up.
Yeah, like this is not gonna work. The last thing I'll ask you though, do you have any differing thoughts about Miles Turner, or are we still thinking the same thing? Because every day it changes, I feel like, with this guy.
It does change every day with this guy.
Yeah.
What we said yes, the last episode is where I still stand. The one thing I will say about this though, for Evan Fournier, if the Knicks could say you have a team that is needy of a shooting guard or a wing right now, right? And here, just to put it out there, I don't know which team it would be right now. A team that is needy for a shooting guard or three, and what they have is an expiring contract that they don't want anymore, and that contract matches Evan Fournier, I can see them doing that type of trade, and just to open up another spot for like one of our other guys. I could see that. I could see that. And then we get like,
that's not bad.
And get like picks in return with that expiring contract.
I could see that, but that kind of feels like not a white flag, but like a yellow flag. Like we're not giving up on the season, but like we're kind of okay with.
It's not necessarily giving up on the
mediocre
season.
year. Yeah, it's a yellow flag.
It's. I mean,
I don't want that.
I look at it this season and saying,
I want Jeremy Grant for Fournier. Like I want that package. Seriously, you know what I'm trying to say? Like that means that we are willing to eat up more money, but we are serious about our immediate future. You know what I'm trying to say?
I think if they're really serious about the immediate future, it's going to come down to trading these young guys for a point. We have a lot of you.
Yeah.
We have a lot of you.
Well, I think Grimes. I think Grimes is really moving back here rather than forward with this trade.
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean, as of right now, it's going to be a hold because we don't have any guard, and he can just.
Well, I mean, like if we were
forward, for sure. Because there's no way you're trading for Cam Reddish. Well, there is. I mean, it's a legit buy low risk. If it doesn't work out, you still have Grimes, and
he's done. It's not like we have him on a long term.
Yeah, it's just if Cam comes in here and starts playing, you know he's not going anywhere.
Dude, he's gonna get so many steals. I can't wait for transition baskets.
Dude, look, I mean, his overall season stats right now, he's averaging 12 points. He's shooting 38% from 3. That's off of about 5 attempts. Shooting 90% from the free throw. He's getting you close to 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Dude, the kid can play, but over the last couple of games, man, he's been well, not the last couple of games. He's been getting some 30 points from here and there and some matchups, like when he gets a chance. So there's talent in there. That's all I want to say. There's talent in there. So if he can be in a good system with a team that actually wants to focus on him, and let's not forget this team was high on Cam Reddish the same year RJ, that 2019 draft. They did like Cam. So I'm just saying it's all
I noticed that a lot of teams, and especially New York teams, especially the Knicks too, when they scout people in the same draft, they always end up with those players. Like everybody from that 2018 All-American draft is now on the Knicks. We have like 4 or 5 guys on the team now. From when that Frank draft, we want everyone around Frank that we missed out on. The Bargnani draft, we have like 7 of those draftees, including like Ronnie Brewer, like down the line there. I don't know. For some reason, I noticed this trend. It also happens in football, right? Where any player that's like around your draft pick, like you end up getting if they get cut or something, you're like, oh yeah, I know what I saw, and maybe just didn't work out with this team, system fit, et cetera, et cetera. So it's actually really interesting that we got Cam Reddish, a player who, was on that list. Like, the other guys were like Luka and Trae Young, right? They were there, like, and Steph Curry, like, you know what I mean? Those 3 players were right around the Knicks, and like every year we're always rumored to them. And now I guess it makes sense why, because we obviously love them. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's why we try to get them every single.
You try every time, man.
It's
every
so
time.
funny.
And sometimes you get.
We're getting
predictable.
It's becoming a little predictable in that aspect. You know what I mean?
I think that's every team though. Every team likes to try to do. But
that's what I'm saying. It's becoming predictable. Like, yo, we almost had him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Almost got it, John. We almost got it. For sure.
The feelings don't go away.
Yeah, it's always that girl next door.
It's
like,
go away.
Like, what could have been? And then you get the opportunity, and you're like, what the hell? It's
let's
like Dennis Smith Jr.
Yeah, exactly. Dennis Smith Jr., the perfect example. It's like, all right, let's try this out.
Yo, shout out to DSJ for doing his thing over in Portland. He was actually someone, shout out to our guys, Chip and Jeff, when I went on the Hoops Addicts Anonymous, said he needs to go to another location outside of New York and be hooping. Sure enough. It's just tough, man. New York is tough. But I think we did a good job catch up on Cam Reddish, man. That's it's exciting stuff, man. I can't wait to see if he actually plays Saturday. Hopefully he does. He gets some minutes and he gets some shots up there. Yeah, that'd be
listen, I'm going to be at the Monday game. We're both going to be at the Tuesday game. I'm also going to be at the Pelicans game. We're going to see a bunch of Cam Reddish. So let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for it, man. This is going to be a lot of fun getting Cam. We actually have a wing. We actually now have some wing depth, which is just start of the season. It's like, do we actually have wing depth? Now we're like, we're flushed at the position that we thought we were flushed at, which is the point guard position, which we're not flushed at. We're back to square one, John. Back to square one. Man. As always. Well, thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Knicks episode of the Knicks, Jets, Etc. podcast. You know what to do. Make sure to go give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and to leave us a comment, and to also give us a 5-star rating on Spotify if that's where you listen to us. But if you don't listen to us on any of those platforms, it's okay. We're on Stitcher, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, you name it. We are there. On top of that, we're on the YouTube channel. So make sure to go subscribe and hit that notification bell. And while you're there watching the videos, make sure to hit the like button. And while you're also there, there's a podcast called Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, they go down the NFL slate, but now they're doing the playoffs, NFL playoffs. Make sure to get their takes, because these guys are killing it. John's seeing the board clearly now. He can see clearly now because the rain is gone. All right.
Let's go.
He can look at it. He's been calling it.
Let's go,
and then,
baby.
On top of that, NBA stuff is coming out. You don't want to miss out on this. You do not want to miss out on this.
With the Tratacaster.
Damn right. Well,
who's back? Who's back on the NBA?
Too much props. Too many props. Too many props. But yeah, make sure to go check those guys out. They're doing a great job. And last but certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All right, everyone. We'll catch you next week with another Knicks episode. We out.